Are you done? No? Come on, leave me my arm alone. If you're gonna be here, you gotta be well behaved, okay? Say hi. Cats, I swear, if they had thumbs, they would kill us all and rule the world. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the daily Cup of Genre here on the Genreverse YouTube channel and Genreverse podcast network, available on all of your favorite podcast apps like a Google, a Spotify, maybe an Apple. Give us a subscription here on YouTube channel if you are watching us, and if you're listening on said favorite podcast app, be sure to give us a follow. There's a lot of really there's a lot of really great content. Oh, that's it, Cat. You're done. There's a lot of really great content here on the channel. Anime reactions, reviews for stuff from Star Wars, Wheel of Time, Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast will be doing or Breaking Geek Radio, will be doing a Babylon 5 review. I believe it's the animated film, Journey Home, I think is the title. But that'll be out tomorrow, Friday, September 15th. And if it's not a reaction video like our trailer and anime reactions, all the podcast reviews, news stuff go up, like I said, on all your favorite podcast apps. Hey, we've got merch. Check out that down in the description box, our Redbubble link. You can support the channel. And of course, LRMonline.com every day for all written news, needs, and opinions. I say all, and yet the two main stories I'm going to talk about today aren't up here, and won't necessarily not be up there, but they're not up there now. I just found them, and I want to talk about them. But on LRMonline.com, you can of course get awesome celebrity interviews, written reviews, news articles, all sorts of things. The podcasts are available there as well, of course. Around LRM Online, we've got Cam Clark writing a bit about people taking things out of context related to the Aquaman trailer, My Time to Shine. Hello, a very well-known scooper leaker posted on X that James Wan doesn't like trailers, basically saying that he's tired and over it. Maybe not even trailers, but maybe trailers, at least trailer for trailers. James Wan had posted under someone making fun of a teaser for the upcoming teaser trailer due out today, actually sometime. And maybe I'll do a reaction, maybe I won't. And James Wan responded that it is hilarious that such a thing exists. I mean, we make fun of that all the time. I make fun of the how they'll show a piece of the trailer in the lead up to the trailer in that video. It'll be like, now dun 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 scenes from the trailer, the dun 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 something trailer. And then the actual trailer starts and you see those same scenes. It's almost like they're doing it to increase the time, maybe, so they can get an extra add-in from Google, YouTube. I don't know. The point being is, I don't necessarily think James Wan hates trailers. Cam didn't think so either. That it's more of he just finds it ridiculous that you got to tease the teaser. Speaking of Cam Clark, he does do a lot of written reviews here on LRMonline.com. And you can catch his Ahsoka season 5, episode 5 review out now. Cam does a really good job of explaining things. He gives spoiler warnings when appropriate. I enjoy Cam's reviews, so check those out. And you know what? Speaking of Ahsoka reviews, there's the Cantina reviews, doing our Ahsoka reviews on video. It's here on the Genreverse, but you can also catch it there at LRMonline.com, of course. I gave it an A minus. I'll say that. The other two guys gave it an A. Ahsoka, really, to feel the emotional side, you have to be a Clone Wars fan. And I'm just not. That's okay. Getting on to the two big stories that I want to talk about. One of them, really big deal, especially for me, being a big Final Fantasy fan. Square Enix not doing so hot. Lost $2 billion in their value since the release of Final Fantasy 16. IGN has a really great article on this. Hopefully I remember to put the link down in the description box, but it is IGN's article. Final Fantasy 16 has done okay, the way that I understand, the way that IGN understands. Square Enix come out, said, hey, you know, it's strong, but people inside feel like maybe it's not strong enough to make up for some, let's say, less than stellar performances from games like the Avengers and Forspoken. That was another one that is mentioned. And I can see that if you played Avengers and you don't, then you kind of understand. And I'm one of those where I was like, yeah, it seems cool, seems fun. It turned out not to be so cool or so fun. And Forspoken had a lot of, it had enough negative stuff online, even sifting through some of the let's call it drama YouTuber stuff, that even without that, I was wary of it and never picked it up. Don't plan on it either, and that's a thing. That's a problem. So Square Enix losing money, Final Fantasy comes out to be the rescue, and it doesn't seem that it's quite the rescue that they had hoped it would be. Now, Square Enix is a big company. They got a lot of things going on. We still have Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, which they should have changed. It should have all been like Final Fantasy 7 Remake and then subtitles like Midgar, and this second one should have some title dealing with the open world and wherever we're going to end up at, like the Final Fantasy 7 Remake, The Ancients, or something like that. Anyways, because what's the third R going to be? Remake, Rebirth. You would have thought, if you're a fan of the series, Reunion, but nope, they gave that to Crisis Core. Anyways, back to Square Enix being a big company. They've got some other things that are being worked on besides Rebirth. Like I mentioned, there's a New Star Ocean, and of course, Final Fantasy 14 is always something they're pushing new expansions and stuff on. Foam Stars is another one that's mentioned in the IGN article. Well, Square Enix isn't going to go anywhere. If they lose a bunch of money, there's one big option on the table, and that's sell. Well, who would buy them? The number one, target you would think would be Sony. Sony doesn't want to lose Final Fantasy and a plethora of other titles that they could have potential, not necessarily do exclusivity for, but lose the ability to spread those that you think are your Dragon Quests and stuff like that. Other RPGs as well that do go cross-platform. And even if they don't, like I said, Sony doesn't want to see Microsoft swoop in, buy this, and make it a Game Pass thing. And I don't either, because Game Pass is not sustainable in any form or fashion, as you guys have come to know it. There's a reason why they play with deals when big games are coming out. Pennies on the dollar for these very, very, very expensive games from your subscriptions are not enough to sustain the studios any more than your pennies on the dollar subscription fees are for Hollywood television and movie studios. There's a reason prices keep going up, and ads are coming. The ads are coming. So I don't want to see it go to Microsoft as they try to float this everything games as a service model and subscription service model. I really don't. I think that's terrible. I think it's awful, and not because I'm a Sony fanboy, although I am fairly a Sony PlayStation fanboy, but not. I'm PCMR mostly. PC Master Race. But the whole Microsoft acquisition of Blizzard Activision is just bad for. It's bad for consumers, whether you know it or not. But yeah, how do you guys feel about Square Enix possibly having to be sold in order to be saved? Would you like to see it go to Microsoft or Sony or maybe Nintendo? Could you imagine? I like high-end Final Fantasy games. I really don't want to, despite some of the rumors for the Switch 2, I don't want to see Nintendo anymore. And to be honest, I really don't want Sony to buy them. But between the three, they would be the primary choice for me. And I think that would, in the long run, like I said, be potentially better for consumers. Even though Sony does their whole exclusivity thing, at the end of the day, by having people pay for the games instead of the subscription thing, you have a better chance at recouping costs and therefore producing another game, one not reliant on a super long lifespan, without a new iteration, a new product. Yeah, that's the future. Games as a service and in incredibly long cycles between games. There are supposed to be changes coming up to Square Enix. New CEO Takashi Kiru is said to be looking at kind of changing the culture and the focus, taking away some freedom that producers had on big projects, stopping some focus on smaller projects to focus more on big projects, but with more control. They're not wanting, they don't want more, in my opinion, Final Fantasy 16 craziness where there's the story and then there's these little dungeons that you play in between, and it feels completely disconnected between the two. But they don't want to Taika Waititi, Thor: Love and Thunder, everything now. So look for some changes there. Maybe some cells. That's just me talking cell. That's not in the article. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. And the other story, this one's kind of businessy, and I love business. And it's as I'm writing down this timestamp here, it's Bill Maher is bringing back real time, and it's not going to be with writers. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can see a X post from Bill Maher on the screen. I'll read out parts of it for those listening on the podcast side of things. Real time is coming back. Unfortunately, sans writers are writing. It's been 5 months, and it's time to bring people back to work. He sympathizes with the writers, but he also says, hey, there's more people behind the scenes that need to work. Says, despite some assistance from me, much of the staff is struggling mightily. We all were hopeful this would come to an end after Labor Day, but that day has come and gone. There still seems to be nothing happening. He expresses his support for his writing team and talks about how he's going to be upfront with the audience about what's going on. There's no writers. He's not doing his monologue. He's not doing anything but basically the panel discussion, right? He doesn't want to do take over anything that the writers that he values did, but he wants to help other people out, and that's an important thing that I've mentioned about, like budgets. I was just mentioning how subscription fees aren't enough to sustain productions, Hollywood or gaming, and I mentioned how cutting spending on projects is one thing. So you have a studio that films in say they film in Seattle just for shits and giggles, right? And they're usually bringing in, or we'll say Tacoma instead. It's a little bit smaller. They're bringing in 500 cast and crew. They're on the outskirts there. That's 500 extra people in that local economy for food and lodging, gas stations, vehicles, like everything that comes from the production company. They need to order catering. There will be a lot of local hires and things like that. And every year they're there for, let's say, four months. Well, now that this season or this series is getting budget cuts, episode cuts, it's getting cast and crew cuts, Now that part of Tacoma, and you could pick some smaller towns, sure, where other filmings happen, but even big cities, they feel that loss when that money's gone. It's the same thing with these writers and actors strikes, and this is not me taking the side of studios or anything, but there's a whole lot of other people involved in the industry, and even tangentially, like outside of the studio walls itself, the places that provide goods and services, food, cleaning, dry cleaning, like all sorts of things, construction, like so many other people are affected by this, and Bill Maher is out there bringing attention to that, both for you, the audience, who might just kind of see it as the on-screen talent and the big names at the start of the credits after the actors. He's bringing attention that there's more people that are hurt, but he's also bringing that attention to the studios, like, hey, not only is it your talent and your writers, but it's everyone else too, everyone behind the scenes, below the line, I think is the term for it. I even think Bill Maher uses that in there. So it's nuanced, like I've been saying since the beginning. It's a very nuanced situation. It's not as cut and dry as people want it to be. The studios definitely still, for the moment, have the upper hand. I've always said, this isn't going to hurt big, huge name actors, Tom Cruise or The Rock even. It's not going to bug huge writers like your Terrios and screw it, we'll throw Abrams in there. He gets writing credits all the time, better or worse. It's not going to affect them too much, but there's a lot of little people that can't afford to strike so long. Morbidly, this is incredibly entertaining and interesting to see go down. Like I said, morbidly from a business and outside point of view, other than wanting entertainment and to be entertained, I don't have that I need stories to talk about. I don't have an actual, I guess I do have a foot in the race, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not as invested in Hollywood personally, monetarily. So from that point of view, it's a study in a really interesting type of warfare. But I hope it all ends up working out the best. I hope writers, actors, and the studios all can agree on some fair terms that don't see dramatic decrease in spending elsewhere, things that'll affect local economies where productions do happen. And of course, there's always that threat of increased costs to the consumers. I'm looking at you UAW. That's right. Kyle is not a staunch unionist. It's okay though. They once served their time and purpose, and there's a lot of, at least in the U.S., laws that protect most of the things unions still fight for. But hey, I do not like to see people mistreated, and I believe in a good form capitalism. If you do things right, there shouldn't be a need for unions. I do believe that. Unfortunately, not everyone does things right. I do things right, though, by telling you guys to check out lrmonline.com every day for all news, all your entertainment news, needs, and opinions, written reviews, and more. Of course, subscribe here on the LRM YouTube channel. Give us a follow on your favorite podcast app, and check out our Redbubble link in the description boxes down below for Genreverse merch, including our cute anime girl, IMA, for the anime shows. That's it for me today, guys. Leave some comments down below, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow if I have something to talk about. Bye.